Often when people talk about the Atari Jaguar, they mention a few key titles, which may include Tempest 2000, Alien vs. Predator, or Trevor McFur and the Crescent Galaxy. But one gem they often overlook is Iron Soldier. Iron Soldier was developed by Eclipse Software Design and released in 1994, a year after the initial release of the Jaguar. If you want a good example of what the Jaguar was capable of, this is it. But before we get into the details, check out this amazing box art. I mean, look at this thing. An anime-esque mech design. This guy's handling a machine gun in one hand and a grenade in the other, with devastated buildings and tanks. Too good to be true, right? Wrong. This game is all that and more. Overall, Iron Soldier feels like a simplified version of MechWarrior, with perks to make up for the lack of complexity, and definitely the first of its kind. There are 16 levels to choose from, all with different mission goals, ranging from annoying escort missions, defending the rebel base, blowing up the enemy mech, to wasting the establishment. There's a little bit of something for everyone. The player is presented with a much simpler interface for customizing their mech, with a limited assortment of weapons. The first level of the game, you only have a semi-automatic rifle and your mighty mechanical fist to choose from. This is in no way a downside to this game though, and requires a more strategic use of those limited weapon choices throughout the whole game. Or you can just use the chainsaw the whole time. That's fun too. Each level is far from empty. Instead, they are filled with buildings and enemies to annihilate, and very rarely will you have a moment of rest. Whether you're using your chainsaw to destroy the walls of a fortress, stomping on tanks that are too slow to move out of the way, or using your homing missiles to destroy another mech from a distance, there is a constant, gratifying sense of destruction. Levels that require you to raise a city or destroy a specific factory are simple goals, but are incredibly satisfying, and often more difficult than one would think. How many games were there in the mid-90s that let you blow up everything in your path in 3D? This satisfying feeling is enhanced by the simple but diverse selection of buildings and enemies to destroy, with decent music and a fairly solid frame rate throughout. The only time the game slows down is when you knock down a building with your chainsaw and you're getting plastered by enemies from every direction. This problem is prevalent in a lot of 3D titles for the Atari Jaguar. This explains the limited use of textured polygons in favor of ground and flat shaded polygons. Regardless, the many times that I've played through this game, the slowdown is hardly a nuisance, and because of the solid control scheme this game has, you won't notice it most of the time. Where does this game score on JagCorner's 64-bit scale? Obviously, the visuals are dwarfed by today's standards, but for a console game at the time, it is visually astounding and complex. The visual style is solid and makes the game very immersive. I feel that this game has a great theme song that fits, but the rest of the music is kind of average. Definitely nothing to write home about. As for the sound effects, they help in creating immersive gameplay, and it all just fits. The only problem I have with this game are the occasional slowdowns, but after you get used to the controls and you start destroying everything in your path, they are hardly noticeable. The controls are one of the strong points of this game. Maybe a bit intimidating at first for some players, but are easy to learn and quick to master. You will be taking down choppers and stomping on tanks in no time. If I had to do the math, I would give this game 52 out of 64 points. Simply put, this game is awesome. Some people say the game is too short, or that the mission objectives are too simple, but this game was the first of its kind, and has aged well for its time, with solid and enjoyable gameplay. You know what the best part about this game is? It's cheap. You can get a box copy for about $15 or just a cartridge for $10. So if you have a Jaguar console, you really don't have any excuse not to take part in the immersive destruction delivered by the Iron Soldier. Do you want to see more Atari Jaguar videos in the future? Then show your support, like this video, and subscribe to our channel. Check out some of these other great Jag videos on YouTube as well. Also, we will be reviewing more Jaguar games, including some homebrew games. So if you would like us to review or feature some of your own Jaguar projects on JagCorner, let us know through a personal message, either by email, through YouTube, or any of the other social networks listed in the description. It's a great way to get some attention and help keep the Jaguar development community alive. Again, thanks for watching.